Hey guys, I'm taylahjadeart. I'm a tattoo apprentice from Australia and welcome to this video about what mediums tattoo artists use when creating their artwork and portfolio pieces. If you enjoy this video today, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn those notifications on so you can be alerted of new content. Today my talking points are beginner mediums, exploring watercolors, best colored pencils, considering markers, and kits I've actually created for you on everything I'm about to talk about today. So beginner mediums, you're beginning to feel extremely curious about the tattoo industry. These mediums help me and will help you too to get into the mojo of wanting to become an artist. I have researched what top mediums the professional tattoo artists use in their daily profession, and I found that these were the best to start off with without investing too much into supplies and are too expensive and you're unsure about. So to begin off with, I started with a sketchbook. So you can pay anything between $4 to $10 as long as it's about 100 GSM or GSM is basically the thickness of the paper, and it allows you to actually have the ink absorb more into it, or your grey leads will just glide more onto it better. Next, you'll need a set of grey leads. So you can get a pack and they have the different levels. So 2H, for example, is your lighter levels, and this will help you do a lighter sketch, and then it goes all the way to about 6B, which is more for your shading, and it just makes it a lot darker. So if you get a pack of these, you can have a play around, and it's really good for creating your artwork. Then what you want next is your kneadable eraser. So a kneadable eraser is fantastic. You can morph it into any shape, and if you have this alongside your usual rectangular eraser, it just takes all the lead off the paper without damaging it too much, which is really important if you're doing a really good sketch and you're really happy with it. Next, you'll probably want to grab a good sharpener. There's nothing worse than using a sharpener that just either keeps breaking your lead, or just isn't actually sharpening it as much as you'd hope. So this one or a similar one will catch all the leadings and make it nice and sharp for you. Upon that, next is your uni pen fine liners. A nice pack about this big, because then you can get all the different weights. So I'll show an example. This is one. This is a 12, so that's quite thick. So not only are they super high quality, super ink, it not only is water resistant and light resistant, but it's also tamper resistant, meaning that the ink cannot be washed away using chemicals or solutions, which is really awesome. So next up is on this list of beginners is your tracing paper. So that's really thin. So tracing paper is great for using your fine liners to draw pieces and stuff like that on it. Then you can actually turn it over and compare your image side by side to see if the proportions are right. It's really good to actually use your grey leads on it as well. Fantastic. Use it really well, and I actually use a lot of tracing paper and put it into my portfolio. And I also use coloured pencils on it, so that's really awesome to use. And have you ever wondered why when you're actually using your grey leads and you're trying to shade, it just doesn't look as good as other artists' work you've seen? This took me a while to realise, but it's actually because they blend their shading. This is a paper blender, and you do motions with it to make the blending you've started with your shading and just make it a really, really smooth. So definitely give it a shot. They're really useful. Next is your super thin pencil eraser. So this will help you create negative spacing when creating delicate work of animals, fur, hair, and more. It's a hugely unspoken about tool, and it's definitely worth giving a shot. I'll show an example of using all those things, the grey leads and your fine liners. So in my portfolio I have here this piece. So that's I used the paper blender, the fine liners, grey lead and all that, and I really enjoyed it. And you know what, it looks pretty good. I haven't yet used it on the tracing paper, but you know, I'm really happy with it. And I think, you know, anything can you have to use the simple stuff and you can create some really awesome pieces. So moving on to watercolors, you have two choices. You can start off exploring with a basic kit, or you can invest in top quality watercolors. So I have a basic kit, just this set, and it's got lots of colors in the different forms, so that's really good. It makes it really versatile, very good for exploring. You can just use that in your basic sketchbook like the one I just showed you. This is if you're not too fussed about that. But if you want to get really serious into it, because with that you can just use your, you know, whatever paintbrushes you use. Otherwise, invest in some really good ones. This one, Dr. P.H. Martin's. They are quite expensive, but they're top quality. They last a lot. I have seen quite a lot of artists use it. It's fast weight, it's transparent, it's fine quality watercolor. Can be blended and intermixed while still maintaining the transparency and luminosity of the colors. It's really awesome, and then that goes hand in hand with your high quality paper. A lot of tattoo artists recommend Arches. It's 300 GSM, as I've spoken about before. That's your high thickness and quality. It's expensive, but each paper is inspected and made sure it's top quality. Perfect for the Dr. P.H. Martin's. And then with that, you will want to use some top quality brushes. So I bought these. I've had them for a while, they last a while. I just go into the paint shop and I get some really thick, good brushes that have lasted me years. And if you want to explore paint brushes a bit more, there's these ones. So what they do is you actually fill it with water, and then you can squeeze it as you're using it, and it will kind of it will water down your watercolors even more. So it becomes really versatile, but it can be really useful if you know what you're doing. I personally haven't been able to play around a lot with watercolors yet, but just a couple things I've done. So I've done a bit of a traditional tiger, and I played around with a bit of a portrait based on Little Red Riding Hood, so that was pretty cool. So I can't stress this enough, don't waste your time on cheap pencils. Prismacolor pencils is what tattoo artists use to create a lot of their designs. I have been told by a few artists that they easily transferable to the tattoo ink when choosing colors, featuring soft cores that are the artist's choice for blending, shading and layering. So I've got here, this is a great pencil case. If you buy the 150 pack, you'll have so many pencils and all that, and this makes it so easy to actually access your pencils, put it back in a spot that it needs to be. So that's what it looks like, empty with nothing in it. You can fit 168 pencils in this case, and this is what it looks like when they're in it. It is just fantastic. So Prismacolor pencils, you can go on white paper, but I think they look great on tanned toned paper. So this is a really smooth blended paper. It is a good quality. It's also usable for graphite and charcoals. It can just make your pencils look really good and really pop. So when it comes to these expensive pencils, you need to be wise with your pencil sharpeners. So I've got the Duent manual sharpener. It sharpens with precision. It's amazing. It makes your pencils long lasting. It makes no cracks or chips and keeps them just really sharp. It makes the pencil like look this long. It's great. So it goes in there and you do it like that. It's really good. And then have you ever wondered how artists actually make those really white highlights, as you can see in here, I've got a few of them, is actually because they use Posca pens. So the Posca pens are acrylic paint marker, so it's really good if you want to be really precise in where you're putting those highlights, because you're not worrying about organizing the paints, a tray and some brushes to get it out and just finish your artwork. So all of that together is just really awesome. Yeah, so as well as that, I've actually used Prismacolor pencils alongside with my tracing paper, as you can see here. So yeah, they look really good on tracing paper. It makes the colors really pop. Along with fine liners, I did that as well. Alright, so up next, you've probably seen a lot of artists play with markers. There are so many markers out there. I actually started off with a cheap Kogan pack of over 100 markers. So this is it, and that's what my pack looks like. These are tough double-ended textures, and they can bring your artwork to life if you know how to use them. So double-ended right there. So your top brands are amazing though, because these cheap sets, they don't last long. The amount of times I've opened up the whole thing is just crazy. Your top brands are amazing if you know how to use them. So you research it, YouTube videos. I'm still a rookie when it comes to the markers, but I have a lot of fun playing with them. So your top brands such as Coptic markers, Winston & Newton, especially their Pro Marker brush set. So that brush set I'm talking about is actually your grey set. So I've got the whole pack here that just came out. It's really good. So the brush set of it, when you open it up, actually like glides almost like a paintbrush. So it's really beneficial if you then attack your artwork with colored markers to bring over the top, to bring that depth to it. And then you can finish off your artwork with your fine liner color sets. I personally haven't been able to try them yet, but that's what you want to use if you want to bring that extra pop when adding the finest details and you don't want to use a black fine liner. So one of my artworks I have done with the markers, as well as I've actually done it with some Prismacolor pencils over the top as well, just to get the colors I wanted. But yeah, that was a lot of fun, and I really can't wait to explore it. A lot of artists that do use markers are doing a lot of the near-traditional styles, which is really awesome to see. So that's it, guys. I have actually created some sets for you, so it's easy for you to access all these mediums I've suggested. You're probably feeling really overwhelmed, like how much mediums do artists use? Well, it really depends on their style. Personally, I like to explore everything. You can check out my Instagram, taylahjadeart on Instagram, and you'll see that I've actually explored a lot. Feel free to send me a message if you have any questions, or you can actually check out my website. I've got some frequently asked questions on there. It's in my link in my Instagram, so fairly easy to find out, or you can just check out my links in my YouTube. But also some artists just prefer the one style and one medium. So don't be afraid to explore, but don't feel guilty if you just want to have that one style. Just enjoy the process, learn what it feels like and what's most comfortable for you. I've created 4 kits for you guys to check out, everything that I've mentioned in this video. So starting at the Curious Kit, this is your basic set of art supplies that tattoo artists use. As I mentioned previously, this kit has helped me and will help you too. To get into the mojo of things, I found these were the best to get into it without investing too much into supplies. So that's your sketchbook, your fine liners, your grey lead set, your kneadable razor, your tracing paper, and I've actually popped in a leather portfolio book that has plastic pocket sleeves, so you can pop in your artwork there if you want to start your portfolio. Next, I've got the Determined Kit. So the Determined Kit has your Dr. P.H. Martin's watercolors, some trays so you can mix the paints in, paint brushes, Arches paper pad that I showed you before, those water fill brushes as well if you want to play around with that. And I also put in a cheaper watercolor pad option just that has a high GSM in it, so it compared to your Arches might be another option. So then I've got the Serious kit. So the Serious kit has your Prismacolor pencil set of 150. I highly recommend that. And then you've got your tone paper pad, the brown one, and the pencil case that I had showed you all mine are in. And I've also put in a Posca pen option for those white highlights, and then that important manual sharpener. So lastly, I've got your Apprentice kit. So this one, up to you if you want to explore that area. That's the markers. So I've put in my grey marker set, this one here. So it's important to know that these are the brush ones, and then I've also put in some coloured ones from Winston & Newton. So that's colours like this, but these ones aren't your brush markers. These ones are actually the double-ended markers like I showed you before, the cheaper version I had, but they're a higher quality, so they're really good to just attack that paper with. And then also your fine liner coloured pen. So I do recommend that if you are getting your coloured pencils, to actually go into Google and download, it's like the color chart of all the pencils, and you can actually fill in every color that's written on every pencil, so you know what they look like on white paper. So you can actually choose your pencils before you actually start coloring with them. I've got one and I've filled it out, 150 pencils, and it has helped me so much because you don't actually realize the colors of pencils, what they're actually going to look like on the paper. So that's everything I've showed you guys. If you've really enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and get alerted of those new content that I might put up on YouTube. Also get connected, join me on my Instagram. I'd really love to hear from you guys. Yeah, I really hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you later. See ya.